Thanks for joining us on a road trip through rabbinic narrative. No agenda, just clarity. Last Friday night, as I was saying Lecha Dodi in Shul, I was thinking about the fact that next Shabbos Chazon, we are going to be singing Lecha Dodi to the tune of Eli Tzion. And as I was reading through Lecha Dodi, I noticed that there are so many expressions referencing Yerushalayim in its current state of desolation and hoping for its restoration. So just a couple of examples to make this point. We have Mikdash Melech Ir Melucha, Kumitzi Mitocha Afecha. There's also Losi Voshi Velosi Komi, the name of the Sa'ir Al Tila. The commentators on the Piyut of Lecha Dodi actually point out that Rav Shlomo Alkabetz based a lot of the language of Lecha Dodi on the text of the Shiva Denechemta, the 7 Haftarahs of consolation that we will say on Shabbos following Tisha B'Av. And it made me wonder if that can help explain the basis of the minhag that on Shabbos Chazon we sing Lecha Dodi to the tune of Eli Tzion. Until now, I always assumed the minhag was simply there to remind us that Tisha B'Av is approaching. But as I was reading the words of Lecha Dodi, I started to think maybe there's a more direct connection that would explain this minhag. Because if all the minhag was trying to do is announce that Tisha B'Av is coming, we could ask, why are we choosing to do so specifically in the Piyut of Lecha Dodi? Why not any other part of davening? And also, why are we borrowing the tune specifically of the kinah Eli Tzion? When you look at the kinah of Eli Tzion, it's really a kinah that's addressing Yerushalayim directly, focusing on the Churban, the destruction, what was lost, and it's instructing the city to wail and mourn in the wake of the destruction. Lecha Dodi focuses on the next stage. It's instructing Yerushalayim to emerge from its destruction. It's encouraging Yerushalayim to rebuild, enter into a new stage of redemption. So the kinah of Eli Tzion and the Piyut of Lecha Dodi are actually talking to the same Yerushalayim, just from different perspectives. And it could be the basis of the minhag is that on Shabbos Chazon, when we are in the middle of the heightened expression of mourning for the loss of the Beis Hamikdash during the 9 days, and as we're about to enter into Tisha B'Av in the coming week, we read Lecha Dodi through a different lens in the wake of the mourning, the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. The words of Lecha Dodi are exactly the same words we say every Friday night. But this Shabbos, we hear them differently. It's almost as if for one Shabbos a year, Lecha Dodi becomes a kinah. Not because the words are any different, but because we're reading the words of consolation while we're still living through the mourning. As I was thinking about this some more, I also thought about another minhag that we have on Shabbos Chazon related to melody. In the Torah reading on Shabbos morning, when the Baal Koreh gets to the pasuk where Moshe Rabbeinu states, Eicha es levadi tachachem umasa achem v'ritchem, many kehillas have the custom to read that pasuk to the same tune as Megillas Eicha. Listen to the difference depending on the melody that's used to read it. With the typical Shabbos laning, it would sound like this. Eicha esa levadi tarchachem umasachem verivechem. But on Shabbos Chazon, when we read it to the tune of Megillas Eicha, it sounds like this. Eicha esa levadi tarchachem umasachem verivechem. It's interesting to note that the custom itself seems to be doing something very similar to what we're proposing about Lecha Dodi and the tune of Eli Tzion, which is that it's using melody to allow us to hear that pasuk a little differently through the lens of Eicha. I'm not saying that's how Moshe Rabbeinu was saying it at the time, but perhaps the minhag evolved so that when we read those psukim, we're actually hearing them a little differently because of the time period that we're in. And I just found that's really interesting because what we could be saying is that melody isn't just there in tefillah to arouse or express emotions as we say the tefillah, but the melody could be used as a way to reframe what we're saying and give us a different perspective on the same words. Have a great Shabbos.